Everyone! So today I'm bringing you a bit of a batch review. I went home to visit my mom and it's about 7 hours of train ride, so I got through 5 books and I thought I would talk about them in a bit of a kind of quick recap of what I've been reading. So to start with, I read Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, which is a series of essays about her experiences. I really enjoyed this work. There were a couple things that I kind of picked out that I really related to and a couple things I hadn't quite considered. One of which talked about privilege and kind of playing the privilege game of like, you know, oh, you can't have a voice on this because you have privilege. And it's something that I've fallen victim to, definitely, and it's something that I hadn't really considered from the perspective that Gay presents, in that, you know, if you play this game, nobody's gonna win, everybody's privileged in some way, and so you shouldn't really kind of, you know, say somebody's opinion is invalid just because of their privilege, which I really enjoyed. That was probably my favorite bit out of it. She also talked a lot about academia and being the only Black person in her department and kind of what that meant. And as somebody who was in academia, I mean, I was in a very female-friendly department, but I can see kind of her perspective there, and especially it was really nice to get a perspective of somebody who is not of the same race as me, because that's something that I will never fully be able to understand, so it's really important to read those kind of diverse stories. I listened to it on audiobook. I really enjoyed it. I took it out from the library, and it came in at the perfect time for me to listen to on my train ride. I caught a really early train to Toronto, and it was nice to be able to just sit back and relax. Well, not really relax, because she talks about, you know, being sexually assaulted in it and kind of all kinds of horrible things, but it was a good book to listen to on the train. So then the next book I read is actually for a book club that I'm in, and it's I See You by Claire McIntosh. So this is a psychological thriller, true crime kind of thing. The book club that I'm in is based around the podcast My Favorite Murder, which I've mentioned on this before. I've been listening to it for years. Absolutely love it. It's kind of a subsection of that for Ottawa people. And I really enjoyed this. I did not see the twist coming. I'm not super into true crime, like thriller kind of books, but they are fun. Like, I really enjoyed this. It was a really quick read. It was really, you know, easy for me to get to, easy for me to get absorbed. Like, I didn't want to put it down. I was picking it up every opportunity I could. Really, really enjoyed this one. So the basic premise is that the main character is sitting on it's set in London, so she's sitting on the tube doing her daily commute, and she sees an ad with her picture in it, and it kind of freaks her out. And basically the whole thing is about how people who follow their routines are kind of more at risk. And it was really good. It made me consider kind of, you know, what routines I follow, and kind of, because I'm very much a creature of habit. I love following my routines, and I was kind of like, oh, maybe I should shake it up a little bit. Definitely made me think, really enjoyed it. After that, I dove into Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I read Gone Girl this year as well. I'm a little behind the times with getting it onto the Gillian Flynn bandwagon, but I love this. I actually think I enjoyed this more than Gone Girl. I liked Gone Girl. You guys know how much I love unlikable main characters. This one more so. I really love this. This kind of is set in, I don't know if it's the South because I'm not American and American geography is not my strong suit, but it's set around a very wealthy family in kind of a rural community, and the main character is a journalist who goes back home to kind of investigate these murders of these 2 young girls, and kind of deals a lot with family dynamics and substance abuse, psychological abuse. Very, very good. Absolutely love this. Another kind of true crime, gruesome book that is out of my wheelhouse that I'm really enjoying right now. This is like a really good summer read. These two, I would say, if you're wanting something kind of out of your wheelhouse for a summer read, definitely pick those up. Really enjoyed Sharp Objects. couldn't put it down, finished it in like a day, just really good. Really looking forward to getting, like, I've put a couple more of Gillian Flynn's works on my hold list at the library, and I'm really looking forward to them coming in. So then the next one is one that I wasn't intending on getting this. I had it on my holds list, and then I walked into the library and they do a 7-day express collection where you can take a book out for a week and then you can renew it once. So basically you have 2 weeks to read the book. And this is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. Now, you guys know I love The 13th Tale. I adore Diane Setterfield, and I didn't even know that this came out kind of when I was on my hiatus. This came out and I missed it, and I was like 130th on my hold list to get this book, so I was really happy to find this in the Express collection. I didn't enjoy this as much as 13th Tale. It was good. It definitely was interesting. It's set on the Thames in this small village, and it kind of deals with interconnecting stories and missing children, and it has almost a slightly fairy tale aspect, but not as much. It's not gothic the way her previous 2 works are. It's much more historical fiction, much more kind of Bronte-esque, but less so. Like, it's set more, I would say it's more hearty than Bronte, to be honest. I did enjoy this, but it wasn't the best thing. I'm glad I picked it up. I'm glad I read it. I still am looking forward. She's one of my, like, authors that when she comes out with a book, I'm gonna read it because I enjoy her and she is an excellent writer, but this one, the plot just wasn't quite there for me. Basically, it starts off with a man comes in with a child who appears to be dead, but the child comes back to life, and then there's questions of her parentage and who she should live with, and it kind of deals with all these questions within a small community, and like people not being what they seem, and things are not kind of what they seem, but it didn't have the spooky elements that 13th Tale did, which I absolutely loved. So that one was okay. And then the last book that I read is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is part of a trilogy. This is the first in the trilogy. This is in her kind of urban fantasy series. I used to love these growing up. Tithe and Valiant and those books I really enjoyed growing up. So I decided to dig into this. It kind of has some connections to those worlds. It's set in the same world. You meet some of the characters that you did back then. Basically, it's about these 2 twin sisters who are human, whose mother had originally been married to a fairy lord and had a child with him, but then ran away. And then the fairy lord comes, this is all in the first chapter, the fairy lord comes, murders her mother and her father, and then Jude, the main character, one of the twins, and their whole family gets taken back to fairy, and they're raised there as humans in fairyland, and I really enjoyed this. Very quick read, very easy to get through. I believe it's young adult. Yeah, it's definitely a teen fiction, but I really like fairy stories. I really like reimagining. I really like just kind of more urban fantasy. Urban fantasy is really interesting to me. I quite like the mix of our world and that there are other worlds kind of running parallel to it that we don't know about. So yeah, this was thoroughly enjoyable, a good summer read, kind of light and easy to get through. There's some twists in there that you kind of see coming, but not really to the extent that you do, and just very enjoyable. So yeah, so that was 5 books that I have read recently. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys read in the summer. I know I talked a lot about like summer reads, as if that's any different, but I do like, you know, different things in different seasons. I'm very much a seasonal reader. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!